It is a very special minisode for you because this is officially a fangirl minisode.
We are talking all things The Untethered Soul and Living Untethered by Michael Singer, one of our favorite authors and two of our favorite books.
Whether or not you've read the works of Michael Singer, make sure you stay tuned for this minisode. You're going to hear some of our favorite quotes and strategies out of his work.
Let's get into it. Do you want what you want sooner rather than later? Do you find yourself growing more effectively in environments where people are growing alongside you? Well, we have the conference for you.
Do you love going to events as much as we do? Then you want to be in the room for the Further Faster conference happening October 29th and October 30th in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Now, the Further Faster conference is headlined by our dear friend, mentor, and business partner, Joseph McClendon III. And trust us, you're going to want to be in the room.
This is 2 days jam-packed of material that will help you grow personally and professionally. And if you're wondering how to make $1 million in 10 years, you have to be in the room to hear the strategy that Joseph is going to share. It is phenomenal.
Go to neuroencoding.com/FFC to learn more about the Further Faster conference coming at the end of October.
We hope to see you in Vegas. And now back to the show.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
All right, let's talk today about The Untethered Soul and Living Untethered, 2 books by Michael Singer, one of our favorite authors. Now, this was the book, the faithful book, if you listen to Monday's episode, that really shifted our thinking in 2019. In fact, I remember where I was when I first had this aha about the separation of the voice inside my head and my soul's inner being. In fact, Shyla had recommended the book so much to me while I was off on a vacation with my family in Hawaii that I was like, fine, I'll use the way home to listen to the book. And we took a red eye, but I pulled an all-nighter, and every hour of that flight was consumed with that book. And there I was, 10,000 feet in the air, and boop, something real shifted inside of me because of this work.
Now, you already know what that concept is out of the book, but here's a direct quote that just encapsulates it. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one that hears it. Now, that's the direct quote from Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul. And that was that piece for us that was just so illuminating. Now, the idea in and of itself was, I think, transformative for us. But the work around it is what helped us bring forward the dimensions that allowed us to soak in this concept in a way that was just so impactful for us. And so we would highly, obviously, recommend the book as well as his other works. But that piece in particular and that idea was the beginning of what really transformed us out of this work.
You know, one of the things that I love that Michael Singer brings forward is that your thoughts that go forward in your mind are that byproduct of just being a human, right? Welcome to humanity. You can't change the thoughts that race through your mind any more than you can change the lines on the road that go by as you're driving. And now, if you think about the lines that are on the road, and this is an example from the book, you don't necessarily pay attention to every single line that goes by. And if a line has a scuff on it, you don't notice that. And if a line maybe is a little bit misaligned or runs out of the path, you don't get angry at the line. You don't think about the line 3 weeks later or every day for the next 5 months. The line is the line on the side of the road. And it's the same thing when it comes to your thoughts. Your thoughts are the thoughts that you think as a byproduct of being a human being. Congratulations. You won the biological lottery. You are a human.
I love that biological lottery. And I'm so glad that we all get to be here experiencing that. And here's another direct quote that we'll share from you. And it's classic Singer because he brings up this imagery all the time. He says, "In the end, enjoying life's experiences is the only rational thing to do. You're sitting on a planet, spinning around in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Go ahead, take a look at reality. You're floating in empty space in a universe that goes on forever. If you have to be here, at least be happy and enjoy the experience. You're going to die anyway. Things are going to happen anyway. Why shouldn't you be happy? You gain nothing by being bothered by life's events. It doesn't change the world. You just suffer. There's always going to be something that can bother you if you let it. So are you picking up a little bit of the vibe of what he's talking about here? Like, is that email response really worth getting so worked up over? Is that person's discretion really worth your voice hijacking your entire evening to discuss and dissect every piece of it? It's not. You're sitting on a rock spinning through space, enjoying one of the most beautifully lush planets that's been here for billions of years, and you're going to get roughly 80 years. Is there anything really worth stealing your joy over it? We know that there's not, but in reality, we often let our consciousness get distracted by those things that are maybe not worthy of our attention in the long run.
So let this be our 5-minute commercial to you to please go. And if you can download it, read it, do it, listen to it on Audible. There's 2 books that will help shift your perspective in this realm, both of them by Michael Singer. That is The Untethered Soul, which is that classic that changed our lives in 2019, and Living Untethered, which is his newly released work from here in 2022. We would highly suggest these 2 works as they will be shifting for you. And we hope that you've enjoyed this little bit of a deep dive into some of that Michael Singer work here today.
Thanks for joining us on this fangirl episode. We hope to hear from you soon about your enjoyment of Singer's work.
Also, Michael Singer, if ever you listen to this, we love you.
We love you. We appreciate it. Thank you for all you've done.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.